Let me ask you a question before we get started. Do you have a message that you'd like to get out there? If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. Number one, it's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can even make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast, and it's all in one place. Just download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started. It is so easy to blame our actions on someone else or on a situation that took place around us. Taking responsibility for our thoughts, our desires, and our actions is the first step in moving forward with our growth. Struggle, grow, succeed. If this is your first time listening to this podcast, we welcome you. If you're coming back for another episode, thank you so much for coming back, and we're going to go ahead and get started. How is your heart? When I was a young child, I would hear people talk about how they love things with their whole heart. I would listen as people would say their heart was broken. I wondered how the muscle in my chest that I sometimes felt beating so hard could go through so much trauma and how it could mend after being broke and hurt, and how it actually had feelings of both love and sometimes even hate. My mother explained something to me that I've never forgotten. She said the heart I heard people talk about was not the muscle in their chest, even though that is what people always clung to when they were talking about joy or pain. You've seen people say, "Oh, I'm so sad," or "I am so in love," and they grab their chest and they hold on to their chest. Well, you see, the heart is spiritual. It's made up of three parts. It's made up of the mind, the soul, and the spirit. Now, whether you believe in God or the universe or whatever you believe in, this just makes perfect sense. The first part is the mind. So with the mind, we think. The second part is the soul, and it's with our soul that we desire. The third part is the spirit, and it's from the spirit that we manifest or we act. These three make up the heart that allows a thought to enter your mind, which is the first part. It moves from your mind to your soul, which is the second part, where the thought becomes a desire or feeling. And after it dwells in the soul, we choose to either dismiss it or we let it manifest itself with our spirit, and it becomes an action that can either be a good action or it can be a bad action. This explanation helped me to realize that I could control many things that I did or things that I would say even before I did it or said it, if that makes sense. We have been given the power of our thoughts, and so many people claim that they cannot control their thoughts. Now, you might not be able to control the seed of a thought. However, when a thought enters your mind and you are in complete control of what happens to that thought, that becomes the power. It's so easy to blame our actions on someone else or on a situation that took place around us. Taking responsibility for our thoughts, our desires, and our actions is the first step in moving forward with our growth. So the struggle takes place in our mind, which is the first part of your heart, and we have the power to make the decision for growth as it enters our soul and becomes a desire. As it is fed, that desire will manifest itself in our spirit and present outwardly what we have thought of and desired. So then comes the manifestation of success. I choose to use the positive example, but we all know that negative thoughts, negative desires, and negative actions can work the exact same way. So let positive things rule your heart and take charge of your thoughts and decisions so that as you struggle and grow, your results will be success in your spiritual life, success in your relationships, success in your finances, and success in your physical being. We have been given the power to choose. So what choices are you going to make today? Thank you again for joining us today on today's episode. What thoughts, what desires, and what actions are going to be in your heart? As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. Come back next Sunday for another episode of Struggle, Grow, Succeed.